The crystal champagne flute trembled in my hand as I watched my cousin Naomi float through the crowd of our annual family reunion, basking in the adoration that seemed to follow her everywhere. The same adoration that had always eluded me. My name is Alea, and I've spent 28 years being the family's greatest disappointment. Tonight was supposed to be different. I clutched the letter in my pocket, my ticket to finally proving them all wrong. Alea, darling. Aunt Marin's voice carried across the marble-floored reception hall. Come join us. Naomi was just telling us about her latest venture. I forced a smile and made my way over to the small gathering. The clicking of my heels against the floor felt like a countdown to my own execution. Oh, you should have seen the investors' faces, Naomi was saying, her perfectly manicured hands gesturing dramatically. They practically threw their checkbooks at me. That's our girl. Uncle Vincent beamed, patting her shoulder. Always knew you had it in you. I cleared my throat. Actually, I have some news too. Aaliyah, sweetie, Naomi cut in. Could you grab me another drink? The help seems to have disappeared. Before I could respond, she plucked the letter from my jacket pocket with lightning speed. What's this? My heart stopped. That's private. Dear Ms. Steele. Naomi read aloud, her eyes widening with mock interest. We regret to inform you that your proposal has been declined. She paused for dramatic effect, looking around at our gathering family members. While your concept shows promise, we feel it lacks the necessary experience and backing. The room grew quiet. I could feel every pair of eyes boring into me. Oh, honey. Aunt Marin sighed, her sympathy more cutting than Naomi's cruelty. Another rejection? Uncle Vincent shook his head. Perhaps it's time to consider a more realistic career path. I can always find you an entry-level position at my company, Naomi offered, her smile dripping with false kindness. Though you'll have to work your way up, of course. I snatched the letter back, my fingers trembling. That's not the only iron I have in the fire. Of course not, Naomi smiled, reaching out to adjust my collar like I was a child. But remember what happened with your last 3 attempts? We just don't want to see you hurt again. Hannah, my best friend and the only non-family member present, appeared at my side. Alea, we should go. We're running late for that meeting. There was no meeting. But Hannah, bless her, always knew when I needed an escape route. As we turned to leave, Naomi called out, Don't forget Sunday brunch next week. I'm announcing something special. I stopped at the doorway, looking back at my family. Naomi's triumphant smirk, Uncle Vincent's dismissive gesture, Aunt Marin's pitying glance. Only Sullivan, my distant cousin lurking in the corner, met my gaze with something like understanding. I wouldn't miss it for the world, I replied, my voice steady despite the storm brewing inside me. This rejection letter wasn't the end of my story. It was the beginning of theirs. In the parking lot, Hannah squeezed my arm. You okay? I watched the party lights dance through the windows above. I'm done being their cautionary tale, I said quietly. It's time they learned what I'm really capable of. Rain pelted the windows of the coffee corner as I stared at my laptop screen, the email in front of me making my blood run cold. Hannah sat across from me, her usual cheerful expression replaced with shock. Read it again, she whispered, leaning forward. Naomi, darling, I recited, my voice trembling with rage. Everything's set for the takeover. Once Aaliyah's latest venture fails, and it will, I've made sure of that. We'll be perfectly positioned to acquire her client list for pennies. Uncle Vincent has already spoken to the board. That backstabbing witch, Hannah hissed. How did you get access to her emails? Sullivan, I said, taking a sip of my now cold coffee. Turns out he's been keeping tabs on everyone since they pushed him out of the family business 3 years ago. He sent me these this morning. The barista approached with fresh coffees. As she set them down, my phone buzzed, Aunt Marin calling. I declined it. There's more, I said, scrolling through the emails. Look at this one from 6 months ago. They've been sabotaging me from the start. Every investor meeting, every potential client. Naomi and Uncle Vincent were there first, poisoning the well. Hannah's face darkened. That's why Metropolitan Solutions pulled out last minute, and why Parker Industries ghosted us after seeming so interested. I slammed my laptop shut, causing nearby customers to jump. All those times they offered to help me network, they were actually warning people away from working with me. My phone buzzed again. This time a text from Naomi. Can't wait to share my big news on Sunday. Wear something nice. XOXO. Don't go. Hannah said immediately. You don't owe them anything. The cafe door chimed and Sullivan walked in, shaking rain from his jacket. He pulled up a chair without asking. I see you got my email, he said, his voice low. There's more where that came from. Why are you helping me? I asked, studying his face. He smiled grimly. Let's just say I know what it's like to be on the receiving end of their family support. 3 years ago, they did the same thing to me. Only difference is I didn't have anyone warning me. What exactly are you suggesting? I'm suggesting, Sullivan leaned forward, that you stop playing their game and start playing yours. I've got documents, recordings, proof of every underhanded deal they've made in the last 5 years. Hannah touched my arm. Alea, think carefully about this. Once you start down this road, they already started this. I cut her off, turning to Sullivan. Tell me everything. He pulled out a USB drive. First, you need to understand how deep this goes. It's not just Naomi and Vincent. The whole family's built on lies and fraud. Even your precious Aunt Marin isn't as innocent as she seems. My phone buzzed a third time. Another text. This one from Uncle Vincent. We should talk about your future. Lunch tomorrow? I typed back quickly, looking forward to it. You're not really going, are you? Hannah asked, worried. I pocketed the USB drive and stood up, gathering my things. Oh, I'm going to every lunch, every brunch, every family gathering. I'm going to smile and nod and play the failing cousin they all expect me to be. But this time, I smiled, feeling a new kind of power coursing through me. I'll be the one dealing the cards. Sullivan raised his coffee cup in a mock toast. Welcome to the real family business, cousin. The restaurant Uncle Vincent chose for lunch screamed old money, all dark wood and crystal chandeliers. He sat across from me, cutting into his steak with practiced precision while I pushed my salad around my plate. Your father would have wanted you to be practical, he said, dabbing his mouth with a napkin. The family business has always been our backbone. You mean like it was for Sullivan? I asked innocently. Vincent's knife scraped against his plate. Sullivan made his own choices. Did he? That's not what the board meeting minutes from 2020 suggest. His hand froze halfway to his wine glass. What exactly are you implying? Nothing, I smiled. Just making conversation. Tell me more about this position you're offering. Before he could respond, his phone buzzed. He glanced at it, his face darkening. Excuse me, I need to take this. As soon as he stepped away, I slipped the tiny USB drive Sullivan had given me into Vincent's laptop bag, which sat open beside him. 20 seconds of work, just like we'd planned. My phone vibrated with a text from Hannah. Package delivered to Naomi's office. She'll find it tomorrow morning. Vincent returned, his face composed but slightly paler. Where were we? You were about to tell me about the entry-level position, I said, watching him take a large gulp of wine. Yes, well... He loosened his tie slightly. We could start you in accounts receivable. Under proper supervision, of course. Of course. I checked my watch. Oh, I'm so sorry, Uncle Vincent, but I have another meeting. Thank you for lunch. As I stood to leave, he grabbed my wrist. Alea, wait. There's something else we should discuss. About your new business venture. My failed venture, you mean? I pulled my hand away. Don't worry. I'm learning to accept rejection. Isn't that what you've always taught me? Outside, Sullivan was waiting in his car. Did he take the bait? Hook, line, and sinker, I said, sliding into the passenger seat. He'll check his laptop tonight and find those accidentally leaked documents about the offshore accounts. And Naomi? Hannah planted the evidence in her office. By tomorrow morning, she'll think Vincent's been embezzling from her division. Sullivan whistled. You're better at this than I expected. I learned from the best, watching them destroy people's lives year after year. I checked my phone as another text came in, this one from Aunt Marin. Alea, we need to talk. It's important. Sullivan glanced at my phone. Be careful with Marin. She plays both sides. I know, but she might be useful. I typed back a quick response. Coffee tomorrow? What's next? Sullivan asked, pulling into traffic. Now we wait. Vincent will panic about the leaked documents. He'll try to cover his tracks, which will only make him look more guilty to Naomi. And Naomi will do what Naomi does best. Sullivan finished. Go for the throat. My phone rang. Hannah. You need to see this, she said without preamble. Naomi just called an emergency board meeting for tomorrow afternoon. I smiled, watching the city blur past the car window. Right on schedule. Alea. Hannah's voice softened. Are you sure about this? Once they start turning on each other? They should have thought about that before they turned on me. I ended the call and turned to Sullivan. Want to crash a board meeting tomorrow? He grinned. Wouldn't miss it for the world. You look exactly like your mother when you're plotting something, Aunt Marin said, stirring her tea at our usual cafe. She had that same look before she left. I nearly dropped my coffee. What do you mean before she left? You told me she died in an accident. Marin's face fell. Oh, sweetheart. Is that what Vincent told you? Are you saying my mother's alive? She reached across the table, but I pulled back. She left when you were 6. Vincent. He thought it would be easier if you believed she was dead. After what she did to the company. My phone buzzed. Hannah. Board meeting in chaos. Naomi's accusing Vincent of everything. Get here now. We're not done with this conversation, I told Marin, grabbing my coat. The elevator ride to the top floor of Steel Industries felt endless. When the doors opened, I could already hear the shouting from the boardroom. You've been stealing from me for years. Naomi's voice carried through the doors. My own uncle. Sullivan appeared beside me, seemingly from nowhere. Ready for the show? We slipped into the boardroom unnoticed. Naomi stood at the head of the table, waving documents, while Vincent sat red-faced at the other end. These accusations are ridiculous, he sputtered. I built this company. With stolen money. Naomi slammed her hand on the table. I have proof of every transaction, every hidden account. Like you're innocent? Vincent shot back. Should we discuss how you really secured the Patterson contract? I caught Hannah's eye across the room. She gave me a subtle nod. She'd recorded everything. Alea? Naomi finally noticed me. What are you doing here? Just watching family history repeat itself, I said quietly. Isn't that what happened with my mother, too? The room fell silent. Vincent's face went white. Who told you? He started. Does it matter? I moved to the center of the room. What matters is that every dirty secret, every betrayal, every lie this family's built itself on is about to come to light. You don't know what you're talking about. Vincent stood up. Don't I? Sullivan, show them what else we found. Sullivan connected his laptop to the projector. Documents filled the screen. Years of fraudulent transactions, forged signatures, blackmail evidence. This is what you've all been protecting, I said, watching their faces. This is why you pushed my mother out. Why you destroyed Sullivan's career. Why you sabotaged every business venture I tried to start. We were protecting you, Naomi whispered. No, you were protecting yourselves. My phone buzzed again. A text from an unknown number. Hello, daughter. We should talk. I stared at the message, my hands shaking. After all these years. The SEC will receive copies of everything tomorrow morning, Sullivan announced to the stunned room. I suggest you all contact your lawyers. You're bluffing, Vincent said, but his voice trembled. I walked to the door, then turned back. Sunday brunch is still on, right, Naomi? I believe you had some special news to share. The look of hatred she gave me almost made me flinch. Almost. In the elevator, Hannah squeezed my arm. Are you okay? That text? I don't know, I admitted, but I'm not done yet. Not even close. Sullivan checked his phone. Stock's already dropping. By morning, this place will be in free fall. I looked at the mysterious text again. Good. Let it burn. The cafe where I agreed to meet my mother was empty except for us. 22 years had aged her, but I recognized her immediately. I saw her face every morning in my mirror. You look just like me, she said, her hands wrapped around a coffee cup. Why now? I asked. Why reach out after all this time? Because I saw the news. Steel Industries stock in free fall? Vincent and Naomi under investigation. She smiled sadly. You finished what I started. What you started. I tried to expose them back then. The fraud, the corruption, all of it. But Vincent was too powerful. He threatened to take you away if I didn't leave quietly. My phone buzzed. Naomi. We need to talk. Now. Excuse me, I told my mother, stepping outside to take the call. You think you've won? Naomi's voice was ice. I just got off the phone with Marcus and Brothers. Remember them? The investors who rejected your proposal last month? My stomach dropped. Funny thing, she continued, they're very interested in your business plan now. In fact, they're ready to invest $10 million. All you have to do is make this SEC investigation go away. You're trying to bribe me? After everything? I'm offering you what you've always wanted. Recognition, success. A real place in this family. Through the cafe window, I could see my mother watching me. Keep your money, I said. I'm done playing your games. Then you leave me no choice. She paused. Check your email. I pulled my phone away from my ear and opened my inbox. There it was. Evidence of my own fraudulent activities from 3 years ago, when I was desperate and made some questionable choices to keep my first business afloat. How did you? We've been watching you for years, dear cousin. Did you really think we wouldn't have insurance? Hannah's call beeped in. I have to go, I told Naomi. Think about it, she said. Family meeting tonight. Don't be late. I switched calls. Hannah? We have a problem, she said. Sullivan's gone dark. All the evidence we collected, it's disappeared from our secure server. I watched my mother through the window, remembering Vincent's words about her leaving. He played us, I realized. Sullivan's working with them. What do we do? Meet me at the office. We need a new plan. I went back inside. My mother stood up as I approached. Everything okay? You didn't come back because you saw the news, I said. Vincent sent you. She didn't deny it. He thought I might be able to reason with you. By manipulating me with the tearful reunion? By showing you what happens when you go against the family. She reached for my hand. It's not too late to stop this. I pulled away. You're right. It's not too late. But I'm not the one who needs to stop. My phone buzzed again. A text from an unknown number. Back entrance of Sterling Hotel. 1 hour. I have what you need. S. The family meeting's tonight, my mother said. Please come. We can fix this together. I gathered my things, looking at the woman I'd dreamed about for 22 years. You know what's funny? I spent my whole life wondering why you left me. Now I wonder why you came back. Outside, I called Hannah. Change of plans. Meet me at the Sterling Hotel and bring everything we have on Sullivan. It's time to play our last card. The Sterling Hotel's back entrance was dimly lit, casting long shadows across the empty parking lot. Hannah stood beside me, clutching a manila envelope. I still think this is a trap, she whispered. Of course it's a trap, I replied. That's counting on it. Sullivan emerged from the shadows, looking exactly like someone who'd just betrayed everyone. You came alone? Just Hannah, I said. You have something for me? He pulled out a USB drive. Everything Vincent's been hiding for 20 years, including what really happened with your mother. Why the sudden change of heart? Because Vincent's going to pin everything on me. He tossed me the drive. I was just insurance. Now that things are falling apart, I'm his perfect scapegoat. Hannah snorted. Like you were using Alea as insurance against Naomi? I played both sides, he admitted, but I'm not the villain here. A car door slammed nearby. Footsteps approached. Right on time, I muttered. Naomi rounded the corner, followed by Vincent and my mother. Well, isn't this cozy? Naomi smiled. Family reunion in a parking lot. Did you really think we wouldn't track Sullivan's phone? Vincent asked. I held up the USB drive. Did you really think I wouldn't guess you would? Enough games, Naomi snapped. Give us the drive, sign the confession we prepared, and this all goes away. You get your investment, and we keep our little family secrets buried. Like you buried what happened to my mother? Vincent stepped forward. Your mother made her choice. After you blackmailed her, I said. After you threatened to take me away. I protected you. You protected yourself. I turned to Sullivan. Show them. He pulled out his phone and pressed play. Vincent's voice filled the parking lot. Sullivan, take care of her like we took care of her mother. Frame her if you have to. Just get her out of the way. Vincent's face went pale. Where did you get that? You really should be more careful about what you say in your office. Sullivan smiled. Especially when you're angry. You recorded me? I recorded everyone. Sullivan pulled out another phone, including Naomi's conversation about bribing the SEC investigator this morning. Naomi lunged for the phone, but Hannah stepped between us. The recordings are already backed up and time-stamped. You're bluffing, Naomi hissed. I pulled out my own phone and pressed play. My mother's voice rang out. Vincent paid me to come back. To manipulate Alea. My mother stepped forward. Alea, please, save it. I cut her off. The SEC has everything. The only question is whether they get these recordings too. What do you want? Vincent asked quietly. The company, all of it. You all resign, effective immediately. Clean exits, no golden parachutes. You can't. I can and I will. I moved closer. Or you can all go to prison. Your choice. Naomi laughed bitterly. You really think you can run this company? Better than someone who had to sabotage her own cousin to keep her position. Vincent looked at Sullivan. You planned this from the start. No, Sullivan said. She did. I just picked the winning side. My phone buzzed. Hannah's signal that the SEC had received our final evidence package. Time's up, I said. What's it going to be? The silence in the parking lot was deafening. Finally, Vincent nodded slowly. You really are your mother's daughter. No, I replied. I'm better. I won. The boardroom felt different from the head of the table. Sunlight streamed through floor-to-ceiling windows, illuminating the faces of shell-shocked board members as I outlined the company's new direction. Miss Steele will be stepping down as COO, I announced, watching Naomi's face contort. Mr. Vincent has also tendered his resignation as CEO, effective immediately. This is outrageous, one board member sputtered. You can't just— Actually, she can. Hannah interrupted, distributing folders. You'll find all the necessary documentation, including evidence that would interest both the SEC and FBI. Naomi stood up suddenly, her chair scraping against the floor. This isn't over. Sit down, I said quietly. Or should we discuss the Patterson contract? I hear the FBI is particularly interested in that one. She sank back into her chair, face white. As I was saying, I continued, the company will undergo restructuring. Sullivan will oversee the Asian Markets Division. Sullivan? Vincent interrupted. After what he did? After what you made me do, Sullivan corrected. Besides, someone needs to clean up your mess in Singapore. My mother, sitting silently in the corner, finally spoke. Alea, please reconsider. This company is your family's legacy. Exactly, I replied. And for the first time, it's in honest hands. The boardroom doors burst open. Aunt Marin rushed in, waving papers. Stop everything. I have proof that that I what? I smiled. Recorded every conversation we've had for the past month, including your admission about helping Vincent fake company records? Marin froze. You didn't? Check your email. All of you. I waited as phones began buzzing around the table. You'll find copies of everything we have. Every fraudulent transaction, every backroom deal, every betrayal. You destroy your own family? Naomi asked. You did that yourselves. I'm just cleaning up the wreckage. Hannah placed a stack of papers in front of each board member. Resignation letters? Sign them now or we release everything to the press. One by one, pens scratched against paper. Vincent was last, his hand trembling as he signed. You'll regret this, he said, standing up. You have no idea what it takes to run this company. I learned from the best, I replied. I watched you all destroy people's lives for years. The only difference is I'm going to use that knowledge to build something better. As they filed out, my mother lingered. What about me? Go home, I said, to wherever home has been for the past 22 years. We're done. The boardroom emptied until only Hannah, Sullivan, and I remained. Well, Sullivan said, loosening his tie. That was dramatic. Hannah checked her phone. Stock's already stabilizing. The market likes the change in leadership. Speaking of leadership, I turned to Sullivan. Try to betray me again, and what I did to them will look like a picnic. He grinned. Wouldn't dream of it. Besides, honest work might be a nice change of pace. My phone buzzed. A text from Naomi. You think you've won, but you've just made yourself a target. Watch your back, cousin. I showed the message to Hannah, who raised an eyebrow. Should we be worried? No, I said, deleting the message. She's just doing what we all do best, making threats she can't back up anymore. I walked to the window, looking out over the city. Now, let's build something worth keeping. The morning sun warmed my face as I stood in front of the coffee corner. The for sale sign in the window brought a smile to my lips. My first acquisition as CEO. Hannah approached, carrying 2 cups. Feeling sentimental? This is where it all started, I said, taking my coffee. Where we planned everything. Where you turned into a criminal mastermind, you mean? Says my new head of legal affairs. The door chimed behind us. Sullivan emerged, followed by the previous owner. Papers are signed, he announced. It's yours. Any word from the family? Hannah asked. Naomi's in Europe, supposedly finding herself. Sullivan made air quotes. Vincent's lawyer keeps making noise about a lawsuit, but it's just noise. And your mother? Don't. I cut him off. She made her choice. Again. My phone buzzed. A news alert about steel industry's latest charitable initiative, providing startup funding for young entrepreneurs. Speaking of choices, Hannah nodded toward the street. Incoming. Aunt Marin approached, looking smaller somehow without her usual designer outfit and perfect makeup. Aaliyah, please. Just 5 minutes. I glanced at Hannah and Sullivan. They stepped inside, leaving us alone. The family's falling apart, Marin said. We need you. No, you need my power. There's a difference. Maybe. She wrung her hands. But we're still family. Family doesn't sabotage each other. Family doesn't lie and cheat and destroy lives for profit. Then teach us to be better. Her eyes filled with tears. Show us another way. I studied her face, searching for manipulation, but finding only desperation. You want another way? Come to the office on Monday. Entry-level position, like you all wanted for me. Prove yourself, like I had to. You're offering me a job? I'm offering you a chance. The same chance you all refused to give me. The door chimed again. Hannah stuck her head out. Sorry to interrupt, but the contractors need a decision about the remodel. Think about it, I told Marin. But remember, one wrong move and you're out, permanently. She nodded quickly and hurried away. Inside, Sullivan was already sketching designs on a napkin. We could put the meeting room here, keep the coffee bar. And the community workspace there, Hannah pointed, for the startup incubator program. I ran my hand along the familiar counter where I'd sat plotting revenge. What do you think? Am I crazy for giving Marin a chance? Probably, Hannah said. But that's what makes you different from them. You're actually trying to build something, not just tear things down. Besides, Sullivan added, keeping your enemies closer isn't always a bad strategy. My phone buzzed again. Another text from Naomi's burner phone. You can't change who we are. Who you are, blood will tell. I showed them the message. She's wrong, Hannah said firmly. I know. I deleted the message and looked around the cafe. Blood didn't make us family. This did. Planning, fighting, building something real. So what's next, boss? Sullivan grinned. I pulled out my own napkin and started sketching. Now we create something they never could. Something honest. And if they try to stop us? Hannah asked. Then they'll learn what I learned. I smiled. Sometimes the best revenge isn't destroying your enemies. It's succeeding in spite of them.